Hi, Malika.
Hi, Harley.
Hello, everybody listening.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back to Sonder and Salt, the weekly food podcast about the magic of eating. How are you?
I took a week off.
Oh, good. I'm
just
glad.
So you know. Yeah. But I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. Bit tired. Bit tired.
Still recovering, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like there's an extra gravel on my voice.
On your voice.
A bit of extra grain.
There's a bit of darkness under my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to hit the ground running after our event. A little bit tired, but we love doing this. We do it for you. We do it for us too. If you enjoy listening as much as we enjoy making it for you, do not forget to leave a rating and review. Tap the stars on Spotify to leave stars there, and on Apple, scroll right to the bottom of our show, and then you can leave a rating and write us a little paragraph. Let us know where you're from, let us know what you like, what you don't like, and what you want to see.
Exactly, a 5-star rating.
Yeah, we are starting to make some plans for season 4.
Yeah.
So if you want any requests, you can leave them in that review. Let us know what you want next. What's your food highlight of the week?
So I haven't actually been up to too much lately. I've been a very busy bee. But what I did realise is that just my general lifestyle, it was just all over the place.
Okay.
I like to have a level of structure. I think I've said this before. I like to meal prep and plan. So recently I actually sat down and planned my meals for the week.
Okay.
Planned out my meal schedule. I went shopping with my trolley for the first time in ages because I wanted to get my steps in. Yeah. I had a trolley called Bobby Kunle. I don't know if I've shared this before. I've shared this on my Instagram. I had a trolley when I studied abroad in France. I bought a trolley. That was the first time I had one, and it was like bright green. It had 2 cows on the front and something in French, and I called it Bobby Kunle because of the 2 cows. I just feel like I'm getting a little bit old for Bobby Kunle, or for BK as we call him.
Do you still have him?
I do have him. Okay. He's just filled with like plastic bags and stuff. He's in the garage now. Swapped him out for a nice shiny black hopper. Trolley Q3 or whatever you want to call it, that we've both got, the hopper one. Yeah, so I took that out for a spin. It's got a compartment at the front for like your drinks bottle. Yeah, lovely. Umbrella
or whatever, kind of a cylindrical
space. Lovely. Put my purse and stuff at the back. Fantastic. Took that out. We actually put up a poll about trolleys because I know some of you guys are probably listening to this and thinking, trolley?
How old are you people?
But we love our trolley. And so we asked on Instagram, a shopping trolley is cool or is for old people? 75% of people said it is cool. Yep. And 25% said it's for old people. Somebody actually jumped in the DMs and said they had a trolley during lockdown when the streets were quiet. Yeah, and they're feeling a bit shy about bringing it out. And I was like, no, bring it out. Like, listen, we set trends around here.
Influencers.
So I'm telling you, people will look at it, but they're very efficient. And eventually everybody's going to have one.
I still feel a little hesitation when I go into the town centre. Yeah. Because my supermarkets are in isolation. So if I just go to Aldi, it's the only people that are going to see me are fellow shoppers. Yeah. But if I go into town where like the Asda is, you could catch me where you're going to TGI's or like you could be there for some other reason and be like.
I feel like if you keep it cute, because yesterday when I went out, I got a little bit dressed up. I had on like my nice gym stuff, trainers, put a bit of lip gloss, some earrings. I actually fixed my hair.
I can't go looking.
So I kept it cute. So it just looked, and because my outfit was like black and blue, the trolley was black. It all looked very chic, as you like to say, very fetch, according to Harley.
Yeah, very fetch. Yeah, I enjoy trolley, and I'm very glad that 70 something percent,
75%
of people are rocking with us. Because I thought I was gonna have to start swinging in the DMs there for a second. Because the first few votes were like old people, and I was like,
not quite.
It's not. I only write polls that I are biased. That you to answer how I want you to answer.
You put is cool in capital letters, but
with emojis.
Yeah, did some shopping and I've been having some tuna salads. So that's basically, I bought bits and bobs for my tuna salads.
Was it the Ortiz tuna that you like?
No, that's for special occasions, darling.
Right.
Can't be having it.
Because he lives.
At nearly £5 a pop. We cannot be having that for lunch. That is for special occasions. I buy the Rio Mare, or it might be Mare. I'm not sure because I believe it's Italian. Yeah. You would know how to pronounce it better than me. Yeah, Rio Mare tuna. It's like a salmon kind of colour packaging. Okay. Yellow and blue logo.
Oh yeah, I recognise that one.
Yeah, and it's tuna in olive oil. I only eat tuna in olive oil, but they have this on offer often, so I actually stocked up a little while ago. So I had that, and I have it with baby spinach, finely chopped up, some red onions. I did sweet corn this week, carrots. These beautiful fresh tomatoes I actually got from the butchers, from shout out Eddie's Meat Market. They have like fruits and veg at the front.
Okay.
Beautiful. Like, you know, we said tomatoes are in season. Like,
Yeah,
they all come
the
into
end,
the end of it. Absolutely fantastic. And then I also bought some fresh beetroot from Tesco. The packaging got me. I like that. I don't know. I can't remember what the brand is called.
So not fresh.
Right. I also
it's in a packet.
But not fresh, like as in it wasn't pickled or anything. They just steamed beetroot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but it was really nice. And then I added some salt and pepper, mixed peppercorns, of course, olive oil, and I had it was one golden yolk egg cut in half. Lovely. Oh, and quinoa. So the carb in my salad was quinoa, and it was lovely. Mixed it all up. It was lovely. It's like a chopped salad with tuna and egg on it. Fantastic.
You guys obviously can't see Malaka right now unless you're watching this on YouTube.
Yeah.
In the far future. She is literally dancing. Her shoulders keep going up
because
towards her ears. She's just so happy.
It was so nice.
Her cheeks are up the way she's talking about this tuna and this fresh packaged beetroot.
You can swap out the tuna for chicken or some other kind of protein if you wish. But
I would swap it out. I'm not really a tinned fish kind of gal unless it's an anchovy in a pasta.
Yeah, okay.
That's about it. My food highlight of the week is that it's oat season, baby. Oats are back. Back like they never left. I think a couple of weeks ago on the seasonality episode, we spoke about it still being quite warm, but we were like ready to move into autumn.
It's still warm now.
Yeah, no, autumn, fall, food, and food. Moving into autumn, fall, food, and I think at that point, the next cold day we had, I was like, right, this is it, autumn's here. Time to get the oats out. Went and got my organic jumbo oats. Got some apples, stewed them, so I had it in the fridge. That's what I like to put on top of my oats. And then the next day it was 25 degrees.
I had a smoothie this morning, so
I don't know what's going on with the weather. I've declared it oat season, and the way I like to have my oats, I went from being someone who was an oatmeal person. It was Mornflake was a brand I used to buy, so it was literally
I think I've had Mornflake. Yeah, Mornflake.
Because I grew up eating ready bread, so I like porridge that's smooth, smooth. And then I think last year I just transitioned into oats like whole rolled oats.
Oh, okay.
And so it's a bit more kind of chunky.
Yeah.
But I love it now. I love it. I won't go back. And the person who actually convinced me to try that kind of chunky oat was actually Body by Kira.
Because they're meant to be better for you, more nutritious and more filling.
Well, I don't remember what she really said, but she just eats them every day. And the way that, something about the way it holds, you can kind of make a little mountain out of it. And then she puts all these fresh berries on it. I just liked the way it really looked. And then I really liked the way that it tasted. It has a better mouthfeel, as we discussed on our flavour episode.
More substantial.
It does.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of bite to it.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of oats on their own. I actually feel like we've said this before. Well, I like my oats with quinoa flakes.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
I just start my oats with oat milk and water because I have the barista oat milk. And if you do oat milk and oats, it just turns into concrete.
Yeah, it will be super thick.
Gotta mix some water in there. A little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, and just literally cook it. And then, on top, I'll put a little bit of either peanut butter or Biscoff spread.
That sounds awful to me. I can't lie to you. I can feel it stuck to the roof of my mouth.
But as you put it on the hot porridge, it kind of gets melty.
Okay.
It's not like dry. I know what you mean. It's not like dry. And I just kind of drizzle it. And then my apples, which I'll cook on a Sunday and put in the fridge. I'll warm them in the microwave. Kind of like apple pie apples. Yeah. And then a sprinkling of my mixed seeds. And that's what I've been having. I think I've had it 3 times this week. I've sweated every time because it has not been the season. Like, it's just not cold enough. But I want it. I've got a flavour for it. I've got a taste for it now.
Okay. I might whip out the oats. I tend to fall into oats probably like in the new year. When I'm like deep in my meal prep bag. But I'm still stuck on smoothies and like protein smoothies for breakfast. So
those are our food highlights of the week. For more of our food highlights, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Our Instagrams are linked in the show notes of this episode, and also follow us on our site everywhere. What are we talking about today, Malaka?
So this week we are talking about something called shrinkflation. We've spoken about the cost of living crisis a couple of times on this podcast, how it's affecting us, how we are navigating it or ignoring it. And if you joined us for an evening with Sonder and Salt, then we spoke about our experience shopping during this cost of living crisis. The price of things has gone up quite significantly. Another consequence of the cost of living crisis is that people have noticed that things are shrinking. So I read an article on Which magazine, their online publication, and in August, 2/3 of people have noticed that food and drink items have shrunk in size but not price. And that is what we ultimately call shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation.
I've got a definition, like an actual definition of shrinkflation. Somebody said that it is a form of corporate gaslighting. But ultimately, it's a strategy by food manufacturers to decrease the size of their products, but not the price tag. And you tend to see an increase in shrinkflation during periods of high inflation. Because the cost of goods is so much higher that these manufacturers start to look for very seedy ways around it to keep their profits high, basically. One of the reasons why manufacturers are able to get away with shrinkflation, and it takes a while for people to latch on or really notice, is that as consumers, we are generally price conscious. And so we notice when the price of something goes up, but we're not net weight conscious. So we don't notice when the net weight of something is decreased or even increased.
Or the units included.
Exactly. Or like it goes from 50 sheets per roll toilet tissue to 30. People rarely ever check those things. I tend to notice because I tend to decide which products are better value for money by looking at the net weight or the price per gram or something like that. But most people don't. And so because we're price conscious manufacturers, they ultimately don't want the fuss. They don't want people to buy into other products. So they will change the amount of product in a way to avoid changing the price tag. So you end up paying the same for less.
So I can't even imagine not shopping like that. Maybe because I'm so budget. I'm very budget. I'm very tight with my pennies. Frugal. Let's say. I've always kind of shopped like that, but I think it also comes from my background of running my business, whereby it was down to the grams because the recipes were costed to the grams, so my spreadsheet would work it out for me. And again, because of that, I have noticed significantly lately, the thing that shocked me into shrinkflation is real was that a brick of butter has always been 250 grams. I purchased a brick of butter. I know certain recipes off the top of my head. I just could grab a few ingredients and know I've got generally enough. So I grabbed a brick because there's many things I can do with a brick. I'm cutting this butter, weighing it off. I'm like, there's not any butter left. Usually the block has little markings on it for 50 grams. In the US, they sell butter by the stick, which is also a set amount of ounces I think they use. So just generally, you've got, just visually, you know how much butter should be left. So I started looking at the scales. I was like, is the battery low? Sometimes the weight is a little bit skewed. Have I used 5 chunks of this? Whatever. Lo and behold, Anchor have shrunk their 250s to 200s. That is a 20% decrease. Can't remember what the price of that block was that I bought, but the reason I even would have grabbed the Anchor was because I thought the price was reasonable. I stopped buying branded butter a long time ago.
Anchor's branded though.
That's what I mean. So the fact that I had grabbed Anchor that day means I thought, ooh, £1.65 for Anchor. I'm gonna grab that. Little did I know it was £1.65 for 200 grams. So I ended up definitely paying more per gram because I didn't even know to look for the fact that there'd be 200 grams. And then yesterday I bought a block of butter from Aldi and it was £2.50. So now I'm mindful. I saw £1.70 something for it. I said, too good to be true. Come here. Looked at the back, saw 250 grams. I was like, all right, you're coming home with me. You're coming home with me.
I read an article about butter, and I think it was Lurpak.
Yes.
We're talking about how they've actually brought their prices in line with the reduction because they have had to reduce the weight of their products or the amount that they're giving. But this is what they say. This is what they say.
I don't want to sound like a beep. But when people on the internet talk about the cost of Lurpak, they are typically talking about Lurpak spreadable, which is margarine.
Okay, this is an argument I know nothing about because I'm buying Lurpak butter.
Butter in a block, right?
Yes, exactly.
But Lurpak spreadable is the thing that comes with a lid on it. People typically buy margarine. I don't know
nothing about that lifestyle.
Right. Well, that's the product that I keep seeing people discuss because that's the product that went up to £5 at some point during the pandemic, I believe. For, I'm going to say 500 grams, maybe just over 500 grams. I don't really buy margarine, so I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure it's a 500 gram tub. Again, I don't want to sound like a beep. But there is a difference
between butter and margarine. Yeah, facts, 100%.
And I think Lurpak charging anything more than anyone charging anything more than £2 for margarine are taking the beep.
Yeah. Because you and these beeps.
Because margarine, I mean, it serves a purpose. It's a good spreadable, like, toast spread. I completely understand. I grew up on Clover. Like, spreadable, family friendly, get through loads of it every week. You don't need to be using butter for everything in your life.
but kind of do still. I can't lie to you.
Us.
You kind of do.
In this dink household that we're dreaming up here. But generally, I completely stand with the people who are saying low pack. The price of low pack spreadable, for the fact that it's low pack spreadable, that is ridiculous. So low pack talking about bringing prices in line with whatever, you're a liar and actress.
Well, I don't know if they're talking about the block butter or the spreadable. I'm not sure, but it was something that I ran my eyes
as
across.
A brand, they've tried to position themselves in this premium product, and I just
You don't think low pack butter is that great? Just on a sense, really? Why? I think low pack tastes good. I can't lie to you, but what I prefer some good old French butter. They got it in the bag.
Irish butter. It doesn't taste bad. If I'm gonna buy butter to
Irish
have like,
good.
if I make a loaf of bread and I'm gonna sit round and have butter, I'm gonna buy French or an Irish, Kerrygold or something, or like a Kerrygold. I think is grass fed cow, grass fed butter. I'm not gonna buy Le Pack. My preference when I was baking would be Muller. I don't know if that was just a branding thing or a psychological thing. To me, it's just like Muller means dairy. Like I just think it's a good dairy brand as a whole. Yogurts and just Muller. I
think it's okay personally, but
we probably, you know what it is, we should probably do an episode on butter, because the nuances in butter are not just like we're comparing taste and how we actually like it, but butter basically can vary from like 65% fat, which is not that high, up to like 75-80% fat, and that is what we're tasting. You know, even just like salted versus unsalted, the supermarket salted butters are, I don't want to say the table salt because they're not table salt, but in terms of the rankings of how the premiumness of the salt that's in them, some are lower end, some are higher end, and that's why the flavors are what they are. So let us know if you want us to do an episode on butter or just dairy as a whole. They do. Dairy as a whole, and just like that kind of industry, because it's not something that we talk about very much as oat milk drinkers. But because butter is, if I'm being honest, butter isn't something that I probably haven't noticed as much. Because butter isn't something that I buy regularly, because I actually don't really buy bread. I do buy a couple of gluten-free alternatives, but because I'm having them with like a fried egg, I won't butter the bread just because I don't think I need to. But if I do want like a good piece of toast or something or whatever, I need butter on the rare occasion that I bake, then that's the only time I really buy butter. I keep butter on deck because pasta sauce or just anything, I'll always have a block. But similar to you, the less I bake, the bigger the gaps are between when I purchase it, so the bigger the difference is. And I'll walk in and be like, the last time I bought this 3 months ago, it was £1, and now it's £1.79 or something like that. But long story there. But butter was the thing that really told me, right, this is a crisis the crisis entered my home.
So butter is one thing that you've definitely noticed is affected by shrinkflation. Some of the most common victims, according to a survey by Which, is things like chocolates, crisps, biscuits and snack bars. Is there anything else that you've noticed that has been affected by shrinkflation?
Oh, definitely. I'm just thinking about how few crisps there are in a crisp packet these days. I'm glad that your research is talking about products that we have like in the supermarket that we're used to, and things like butter around the world. On our eggs episode, which you can find on sonderassault.com, we spoke about the increased price of a carton of eggs, and that a carton of eggs in the US and even here has always been kind of 6, 10, 12, 24, and that there were some prices that have been increasing across the globe, and that a carton has become less. There was a point when your golden yolks were no longer even available.
The other day I went to buy them in Tesco when I took my shopping trolley out for a spin. They're selling packs of 6 in there again. And it makes the cost per egg about 2p more expensive than if they supply the 10 pack. I couldn't do it to myself. I've actually gone into another brand. Don't want to speak on it because it's quite painful. Still golden yolk. I'm testing the eggs out. But I just could not bring myself to pay that. I said, this is a joke. I was paying £2.40 for
that's shrinkflation, isn't it? The fact that it's gone from a 10 pack, especially if was a 10 pack, to a 6 pack. So the 6 pack, we noticed when the egg crisis mostly hit,
and they're still slinging them. And they're boys.
Still the 10s came back, but the 6 is obviously. I guess it's the same. People, and maybe you're going to talk about this, but with the inflation, the world is wondering, are they ever going to bring the prices back down?
Well, this is a point actually so with my research eggs, that they don't. Generally, they don't. Manufacturers will take advantage of the situation. they will say that they need to because obviously they got increased costs. But then when the economic situation stabilizes or goes kind of back to where it was, the prices and the product sizes will remain as they are. And this is just basically the new normal.
And that's what's happened to your eggs. Yeah. Because they teased you with the 6-box. And now the 6-box has become a regular...
I don't understand. I don't actually know why it's still on the shelves. I don't know if they're trying to work through the remaining packaging or what. I'm going to give them a chance. But they need to wrap it up because I'm not interested in that. Just so if you guys are listening, just so you know. Right.
At Fresh Farms.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned crisps there. In my head, packeted crisps first came to mind, but Pringles, the tube of Pringles. So Pringles rebranded a little while ago. Just same kind of look, but a little more modern, sleek, their little Pringles face. And a Pringles tube has always been a Pringles tube. But the Pringles tube is now a third empty when opened.
All that air.
Yeah. So they haven't changed the way it looks for the consumer. You still reach for the same size. It still occupy the same real estate on the shelf. But when you open the packet, you're like, huh?
What is going on?
What is going on? And I saw someone tweeting about some invention the other day, or some kind of system to get Pringles out so that you don't have to put your arm down a tube of Pringles. Yeah. And now, because the Pringles box is so empty, by the time you get the Pringles home, they've had too much space to move.
And they're broken.
And they're so broken.
They're broken.
So broken.
Yeah, there's actually an article here that says Pringles tubes down from 200 grams to 185 grams. Yeah. So that's the amount of weight in the actual tube. Yeah.
And I think they're cheeky because like tinned products, for example, say 400 grams and then it will say 210 drained weight or something. Yeah. I need to double check that because you know how I like to buy legume. I'm probably buying a 400 gram of chickpeas and it's like mostly water.
Yeah, 10 grams drained weight.
mostly water. I need to look into that. You just triggered something in me.
That is too funny.
There was an episode I listened to with some South African podcasters that were complaining about the increased space between the peaks of chocolate on Toblerone.
Yeah.
What the hell?
That's been happening apparently. I read online that's been happening over time. Okay. And it's just getting wider and wider and wider. Yeah.
Coke apparently as well, like, or soda drinks as a whole, carbonated beverages. Cans used to be, and I think they still are, the kind of fat short 330 cans. Now they're like slender 300 mil cans. Some of them are even 200 mil. They're kind of skinnier, taller cans.
Because I don't drink those things, I never really noticed, but that's interesting.
Well, the one that made me notice was San Pellegrino. Okay. So I thought it was a new drink. And I thought it was like a more premium offering. Something about the taller slender can.
It does look a little bit
more premium.
Yeah.
And Appetizer, I think they started using that can straight away. That was like their can. They went from glass bottles to that taller can. And I was looking at it and I said, oh, this is the same San Pellegrino. It's just less of it and whatever. I've noticed that Coca-Cola are in that brand in that can, for a few of their brands. Not all of the brands are in it, but some of the brands are in it. Yeah. And the last one was that on this podcast was that the Oreo filling is not just thinner. Now it doesn't even reach the edge.
So it's barely a sandwich anymore. It's just dry around the edges.
Barely a sandwich biscuit. Any less filling in Oreo. And I want to look into that because Oreo as a brand have a lot of ranges, and one of them is the double stuffed. So if the single stuffed is now less stuffed, are they marketing the double stuff as what the single stuffed used to be?
Maybe, because that is one of the other things that they tend to do as a result of, or manufacturers as a result of shrinkflation. They'll take the reduced product as the lowest offering, and then the original product can very quickly become the mega or the ultra, or the double stuffed. It might not be double stuffed. They might have just kind of stuffed it in a way that makes it look double stuffed. Yeah. But the weight of the stuffing is probably closer to what it originally was.
It's funny you say that because that's what they did with the sugar drinks. So they made what used to be Rubicon, just the regular, I'm talking about the mango one, so the regular blue carton. That's now the sugar-free one. And they made what used to be Rubicon, now Rubicon Deluxe.
Yeah, with the sugar.
In the sugar. And it's in the dark blue with the gold
and
trim.
they charge you a bit more for it.
I never thought of it in the sizing.
Toilet rolls is one that they've noted as doing that with over time. Toilet roll has been
kitchen roll
shrinking for decades, and then you had brands like Charmin that shifted their marketing to now say like double or triple or mega rolls. Yeah, and then one thing, if you're aware enough, you'll notice that the cylinder, the cardboard cylinder, has that grown in size. So for some brands, how the actual overall roll looks is not too dissimilar to what it previously was, but it's holding less sheets on the roll.
Which is very interesting because I have fallen prey to that. But I think because I have been buying Tesco own branded toilet paper and kitchen roll is one thing I'm going straight to the cost per sheet.
Okay.
Straight to the cost per sheet. The way that shrinkflation has affected me then is that I've changed the toilet paper that I'm buying.
Yeah.
Like, because I didn't used to buy this toilet paper at all. It's like a shell.
Some brands know that they have got a high degree of brand loyalty. So they make these changes and they kind of know that people will be disgruntled, but they're probably not going to change. And so some of them, they will just put the price up because you're going to buy it anyway.
Yeah.
That's what Fresh Day Farm's trying to do to me.
Yeah.
Don't know how much longer they've got
What
me,
other products
but they're trying
do you
to do
think
that to me.
have done that to you? Like, just non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables.
I think
olive
rice,
oil. Olive oil. The price of the Odyssey olive oil. This was probably, I don't know if it's a result. I don't know what it's a result of, but it's definitely gone up. The organic one. Remember, I said I was buying that one for a while. Yeah, and then now it's probably almost £2 more expensive.
Boy, oh boy.
I don't buy that one anymore, but I will still buy Odyssey. I think I'll be distraught if the cheaper one goes to a price point that is completely unreasonable. I'll be really disappointed if I feel like I can no longer buy it because it is completely unreasonable. There's a couple of brands I like to dibble and dabble in, but I still like to have the choice. I feel like it is accessible to me. That's what would kind of drive me up the wall.
I don't know if this is shrinkflation, but the range of something, say for example chicken, supermarket chicken, which most people buy,
it gives me gas, you know.
Supermarket chicken,
I've noticed. I really can't be dealing with it.
I don't buy a lot of meat, that's why we've had the butcher conversation before. I'm not a butcher babe just because I don't eat a lot.
Because your butcher's had 1-0.
Can you? I don't shop in that. I've never shopped in that butchers. I've shopped in the fishmongers.
Can check out that episode at sonderresort.com.
Anyway, if I get supermarket chicken, I've realised that the availability of the pieces of chicken has changed. You used to be able to buy quarters.
Yeah, it's true. You couldn't even buy a box full of legs alone.
Yeah, you used to be able to buy quarters or 4 quarters, packet quarters. That was what we used to eat. In my teen years, we used to get a packet of quarters and you get like
8
or something. Or if there weren't many, man, I would literally go and buy 3 quarters. That would be our dinner.
Speaking of chickens, I actually read an article on The Guardian where somebody complained, or the reader was adamant, that rotisserie chicken has shrunk to a rotisserie pigeon. So the size of some of these animals, the products that these places are offering, it's decreasing.
I won't lie, they're not wrong, because I'm not a chicken and chips shop kind of gal, but chicken wings,
the wings
as a whole, are getting petite.
Yeah.
The only place that's got wings that look like wings of a chicken that I've seen walking around are Randy's. I love me Randy's.
Okay.
And Wingman's. I went there, I think it was my food highlight like a while ago.
Yes, I remember.
Those were the wings that look like wings.
Like wings.
I was like, this bird can fly.
Some of them are maga.
Some of them are just like, even the drum is like,
it's literally like a big toe. That's what it looks like, the size of a big toe. Some of those wings, I don't think the bird will be able to move anywhere with those wings. They could definitely not fly with those bad boys. Shrinkflation is usually attributed to a decision that the manufacturer has made. That's ultimately where it stems from. The manufacturer decides to take something out of the product or to reduce the size. But from their perspective, it seems like nobody really wants to take blame or be accountable. From the manufacturer's perspective, their position is very much that we create the product and then we provide an RRP to the retailers, which is a recommended retail price. Yeah. So the fact that as consumers, we feel as though we're paying the same price for the same amount of product, they're saying it's basically the fault of the retailers because they want to maintain their profitability or their margins. And so they're keeping the price the same. It doesn't mean that there hasn't been a change in the RRP from the manufacturer. I don't know how true that is, but
I believe it because that was the root cause, half of the root cause
with the
of the eggs
situation.
With the supermarkets just refusing to price them fairly in a way that would allow the farmers to make the money. So I believe that that's part of the problem for sure. Another brand I've heard rumours of shrinkflation and another kind of funny pigeon-like way is the cereal boxes. Apparently the cereal boxes are going to have so little cereal in them that they won't be able to stand up.
Well, we'll start falling over. It's just pure air.
Just air in there. And Kellogg's is one brand that's kind of owned up to I guess the bigger the company, the less they can get away with like just doing it in secret. They've had to kind of say that they're doing these things, but Kellogg is one brand that's admitted to the fact that we've had to change some stuff up.
I watched a video online about shrinkflation, and there's a popular supermarket which I used to shop at called Carrefour in France. I love Carrefour.
Oh, you're in there.
Yeah, I think Carrefour is kind of like Sainsbury's. I'm not sure. It's kind of what I would.
Of course, you would think that.
I would say, but I like Carrefour. I really like their range, and what they actually did as a retailer is that they highlighted products that had been impacted by shrinkflation.
Really?
So I think that was probably them trying to pass the buck a little bit.
Yeah.
But they had about 20 to 50 products, I think it was, where it literally had a sign that said, this product is a victim of shrinkflation. This drink has gone from 200ml to 180ml.
You know what? I didn't put two and two together. I forgot that you lived in France, because when I looked up shrinkflation, and listeners, you can do the same. If you've stumbled across this podcast because you searched out shrinkflation, there are so many other podcasts in French about shrinkflation.
Yeah.
Like with French, like full on French podcasts. And I was like, what's going on over there? I didn't even
feeling it over there, but
some of them are quite old. Some of them went back to like 2020. Obviously, the pandemic started the most recent economic crashes that we're in. But I was just so surprised. Like, it's clicking now that you guys have been about shrinkflation. This is part of your regular language and podcasting and news topics that you're always talking about. A lot of their news podcasts had the word shrinkflation in the title.
Really,
I was like,
I feel like that might be cultural as well, because I feel like in France, what they're able to do about it, I guess, kind of depends.
Burn down the city.
Yeah, but they're very much vocal about what they don't like and what they're not happy with. So,
we've got a lot to learn from them.
Yeah.
They can keep them bed bugs. So our last few items that have been affected by shrinkflation, I've stolen your which article. Yeah. One that is very close to my heart is a packet of digestives.
You do love digestives, don't you?
I love digestives.
You said.
I have to stop buying them, and then every now and then I'll have a bad day and I'll go and buy a pack of dark chocolate digestives from the Nissa near me. Oh my gosh,
that price point must be crazy.
Insane. Like I said, it would
convenience prices.
I would be having a bad day.
Yeah,
at that point. They've gone from 400 grams for a regular tube to 360 grams, which, based on what I know about digestives, because there's a recipe I always use digestives for, and I know I need 400 grams. So that would be annoying, because now I've got to buy 2 packets.
Yeah. But
I think the biscuits are about 10 grams each. So I reckon you'd be about 4 to 5 biscuits short in a packet, which is, in my eyes, that's a portion. Okay.
Right, that's a portion.
That's a portion. That's a portion down. Yeah. Magnum ice lollies, not Magnum drinks. A 4-pack down from 110ml, because obviously ice cream is technically liquid, that's why I mentioned milliliters, down to 100. So that's 9.1% smaller.
Yeah, do you know, speaking of Magnum,
go on.
I don't know where I stole it from, but I did have a Magnum at somebody's house, and I thought, is this the mini size?
Tiny.
They actually feel significantly smaller, and it was a full-size Magnum, and I just felt like when I was growing up, my mum used to love a Magnum. She used to send me to the shop.
My parents buy
for a Magnum, and it just used to. I know I was younger, but it was definitely
used to be a lolly.
Chunky. Yeah, it was like,
and it felt like a grown-up lolly.
It did.
It was big.
Now it just feels like some kiddie business.
Have you seen Twisters?
They are tiny. They are absolutely tiny.
They are skinny.
Yeah, they're not as fat, and I feel like the amount of ice cream on everything just feels skinnier. Yeah.
Holiday season is coming up. A staple for our British listeners will know exactly what we're talking about. For our listeners around the rest of the world, you might not. But there are a couple of boxes of chocolates that are staples in households around Christmas time. One of which is Roses. I think it's Cadbury's offering. Cadbury's have got it's kind of like a multi assortment mini of all Roses chocolates.
If you're listening to this, let us know. If you are, in fact, you'll give the options and then we can ask them afterwards which one
which one you prefer. Roses is one of the main ones. Celebrations.
Yeah, that's a bit of me.
One, which is most of the brands that we know. I think, which company runs that? Mars brands run that. So it's got Mars in it, Twix, Galaxy, Malteser, all those kind of brands. And there was another brand from Nestle, which is obviously a worldwide brand, but in the UK, it's a pack of chocolates called Quality Street. And each chocolate in there, similar to the Roses, is like a certain flavor or whatever. But I feel like, we'll ask a poll, which is your holiday box. I'm impartial to whatever's going on.
I like Celebrations because they're things that I recognise. Yeah. I find Quality Street reminds me of Coronation Street, and I don't know why. I think it's an association I've made in my mind. Yeah, and then what was the other one?
Roses.
Yeah, Roses. I just feel like that I don't know.
I think the Coronation Street Association is that they were the sponsor. Remember when TV? Well, I don't watch soaps anymore.
Yes,
But
that is
every
why.
break used to be
That was why.
a mini ad,
Yeah.
like a little 10-second ad. But Quality Street, if you are shopping for Quality Street this Christmas season, has gone from 650 grams down to 600 grams. But I'm not sure which has obviously pulled this year, but probably from last year's like 2022 data. I'm pretty sure this most significant jump that I really noticed was 2020 to 2021. I feel like when we came out of the pandemic and we felt like we had something to celebrate, and then we walked in supermarkets and there was nothing to celebrate.
Yeah.
Celebrations had like everything had really shrunk that year, that Christmas.
But it really felt like at the time it was, oh, this is a consequence of the pandemic and things will start to go back to normal. No, sweetheart.
They're not. And then another thing on here, the example in this list is the Comfort Pure Fabric Conditioner, which has gone down from the quantity for 85 washes down to 83 washes.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say about this though, because the image is here, and it's that the kind of what you said about remarketing the original as the other, they're now calling it the XL pack.
Yeah.
And it previously just was not. It
was
just
the pack.
Just the pack. Comfort Pure was just the pack.
Yeah.
So even the way they're marketing stuff to us, they're using language like family size.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think a lot of corn products specifically, I don't shop with them a lot, but I go down the freezer aisle and I see the packaging, and it's almost like they've put a bumper on the top of it that says like 20% extra free.
Okay.
You know, like they've made the packet look like it's even bigger and it's yellow. And you believe that, but I'm like,
you do.
Free?
For me, what I've learned preparing for this episode, and it's something that I do take note of, but I'm going to be more conscious of it, is that when there is a change in the marketing to the packaging, anything like that, there's usually some insidious reason for it, especially if they're trying to draw my attention to something. Yeah. So if it's like, new XL, 20% more, that kind of stuff, it's like, what's the difference between this and what I was buying? The only way that you can actually really do that though is to be conscious of what you actually buy. So if you've been buying Comfort, how many washes should you be getting out of it versus the next time? And I know that's a bit time consuming. A lot of people when they're shopping, they're just trying to get it done. But it's good to know if you're being cheated or not. Do you know what I mean?
You just reminds me of the point I wanted to make at the very beginning about oats, knowing we're going to have this conversation, is the marketing. So peanut butter and the fact that I consume peanut butter. Certain brands, I think one of the brands is Whole Earth. Yeah. Have got this new product. So say new in the last year or maybe longer, but I've noticed in the last year, of drizzle. It's called peanut butter drizzle. Okay. And it's in like a bottle, so it's more like a squeezy thing. So instead of going in with a spoon, it's more liquidy and you can drizzle it, and it advertises it to go on granola and porridge and those kind of things. So I looked at the back of it thinking like, how is it like, what's the vibe here? Like, why is it thinner? What's in it? Is it cheaper? Do you get more? Do you get less? Whatever. It's the same sitting. Really? Just different packaging. Just different packaging for a higher price point because of you think there's a value in the convenience.
Yes, exactly.
Just put your peanut butter in the microwave for 10 seconds and it will drizzle.
See, people that believe that they don't have time are just not going to do that. Yeah, they're not going to do that. And those are the people that they're which is absolutely fine. They've made a convenience product. Fine. If you want that, if you need that, if you can afford that, fine. But on the point you're saying, yes, when they try and tell you that, brand new egg. Brand new thing that you've always known existed and you've been fine paying whatever you paid for it. Don't just give in to the gimmick of that there's a new version of it and that you need to be buying it. With the eggs that I bought for this week, I can't remember the exact word, but it was like deluxe or something like that. Something to that degree. Of course it was. But I was like, how much of this is the packaging? Because the packaging is beautiful. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. You've got me. You've absolutely got me with this packaging. But I'm like, this is still a golden yolk egg. Yeah. So what about this golden yolk egg makes you so different from the other golden yolk eggs that you're charging this much when you already have another offering that is still a golden yolk egg? It's the packaging, probably. And it just looks cuter. Yeah. So yeah, something to be mindful of. Another side to shrinkflation is known as skimpflation. Okay. And this is something that is harder to detect and it's a bit more, I say seedy, a bit more sneaky.
Corporate gaslighting, that wasn't bad enough.
It's a bit more sneaky. This is where they swap out ingredients or they make changes to the service or to the quality, and they're basically skimping on the offering that they were giving you. So it's not to do with the amount that they give you, but it's basically to do with the quality or the level of service or product that you're used to having. It's a consumer facing issue. It's about like the customer experience.
What I've noticed, which might be that skimpflation thing, is that what used to be the most basic supermarket offering, there is now a lower tier. Like the basic, I think Tesco, what used to be Tesco Basic, I think they rebranded it a while ago to call it something else, Simply Value or something like that. There's now like below that. And it's like they keep bringing in less quality, even less peanuts in the peanut butter, like even more palm oil. Like the further you go down. So I don't know if that's a result of skimpflation or just general.
I think it's a mixture of both, because that is, people have less money, things are more expensive, so we're going to create another thing for the people that believe that they don't have enough the money. It's just a way for us to segment the market even more and to capture more of the market.
Make sure anyone who's got money,
you're going to shop here, because we cater to everybody. It doesn't matter if you've only got a penny. We've got something for you. It's that kind of attitude. With skimpflation, it's about like products that already exist and making them, lowering the quality of them. So there was a report of ice cream, like the quality of like premium ice cream, them using less dairy, less milk, and filling it with more water, so it affects the taste, but they're still charging the same price. It's still marketed the same. Nothing has changed.
We bought cart door vanilla ice cream the other day. Number one, the packet is paper.
Oh yeah, well that is to do with sustainability. Okay,
well number one, the packet is paper. Number two, the thing was once we served it and had it, we were like, this is sweet.
Because they're filling it with water and sweeteners.
Full of sweet. It was so sweet. It was almost yellow. Cart door used to be that proper vanilla looking ice cream with the speckles. We served it out. I was like, this is looking like wall soft.
It looks
scoop.
fake. Yeah.
We couldn't get into it, so we ended up destroying the packet, because obviously, it's frozen completely differently because it's sugar now.
Yeah, sugar and water.
It's all clicking.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, my mum literally said, what did I buy?
Yeah.
What did I buy? I said, it's the cart door one.
Yeah, that's skimpflation, babe. That's what they're doing when they're just mashing up the product.
They're not getting me again.
There's like, there was an oil that I bought once upon a time, and then I noticed that they now mixed that out, that olive oil, with like a neutral oil or something like that. Yeah. And so they call it something slightly different, because you can't call it like extra virgin olive oil. But the ratio of neutral oil to olive oil has reduced. They're using less olive oil, so it affects the flavor, but it's still the same product.
One thing I went through when I was learning about packaging food goods to sell, when I was doing postal brownies, and just how to label food labeling is a whole thing in itself, but there was something about the way you name a product and then the ingredients list. So if I call it milk chocolate chip cookies, in the ingredients I have to put the percentage next to milk chocolate chips, because that's the flavor that I'm claiming. And I think that's the same with some of these oil blends. I've seen some products that are like, just take avocado oil, for example. So it's called like cold pressed avocado oil, and then underneath there'll be a byline, and other neutral seed oil. And then you flip it on the back, and so because it claims avocado oil on the front, when you look at the back, it will say avocado oil 88% or something. Same with peanut butter. It'll say peanut butter on the back, 94% peanuts. Salt, palm oil,
exactly,
emulsifier.
That's why I eat Meridian. Because Meridian is just pure peanuts.
So I used to eat Meridian, and now there are just so many other offerings. So Asda's kind of premium looking 100% peanut is really, really good. And so is Aldi's. Don't love Tesco's.
They've got a premium peanut only.
It's called All About Nuts.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's really good. They've all got one. This is not, I don't know if this is skimp shrink or just psychology. Skimp shrimp or psychology, but
shrimpflation.
Whatever. You think, supermarket own brand must be cheap, must be full of crap, but it's not. They've got.
Well, the thing is,
supermarket's got their own.
And this is a conversation for another day about food manufacturing. Probably will require like a real expert that works behind the scenes. A lot of the supermarket offerings are just these branded places. It's white label product basically, and so they can taste just as good because it's coming from the same factory. It's manufactured the same way. It's just got a different product labeling on it, and that's it. But
I'm convinced that Warburton's make Asda crumpets.
Probably.
Same.
Yeah, really?
Same. And I've eaten a lot of crumpets.
Yeah.
I've eaten a lot of crumpets. I'm not impartial to the supermarket crumpet, but I just think Asda, I'm like, got a lot of time for you.
Yeah, okay, interesting. I would say I'll check it out, but we know that I'm not going to.
Gluten.
Yeah. Skimpflation, because it is about quality and service as well. One area that most of us have probably noticed, or I know people have like mentioned it and reported it on social media, is about like restaurant service and the restaurant experience and skimpflation in regards to how they're experiencing their dining out and the restaurants
Sharing
and they're
plates.
eating. Yes, ultimately. I think this one is a bit more sensitive, especially when it comes to like small business owners. We're in a labour shortage. You've come out of Brexit, so there's a lot less people that worked in the service industry in the UK. So you have all of those issues, but at the same time, the cost to eat out seems to be getting significantly more and more expensive, but the experience overall just seems to be dying. You've got less people working in restaurants.
Yeah.
The food quality isn't necessarily the same. I've noticed this particularly when buying takeaways. I feel like takeaways don't hit the same, and it's really driving me insane. But I think it's skimpflation. That's what I think.
I think there's one point you mentioned before, which was they've changed the bloody containers.
Well,
What used to be a large, you used to be able to get, like, if you were ordering for your family, you'd be like, large special fried rice, large chow mein, large whatever, and you get those good long foil, deep foil containers.
Yeah.
And now everything comes in those little shallow plastic ones. I'm like,
horrible.
A large? This is a large? But I don't know if I would say I've really noticed. I don't get takeaways a lot. Like, if I do, it's pretty much from the same Indian or Chinese.
This is it. I should say, we know where I was buying my takeaway from. And I think there's definitely both both shrinkflation and skimpflation at play.
At Brown Eagle.
Right. I didn't want to say. This is a localized issue to my local area. I don't know about the other locations, but that was, in fact, just sorry to touch on that. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times. That was definitely shrinkflation because the price went up, but the portion size definitely went down. And that was actually my issue because I understand that food costs.
So the quality of the product was the same. It was just a smaller portion. Like flavour, and I mean that.
I was so distraught it didn't taste good. Okay. I can't tell you honestly if it was the same. My friend, I bought it for my friend. She was pregnant at the time. She asked me to bring some for her, and she said it still tastes good. It still hits, but it's definitely significantly smaller.
So back to restaurants and the small plates and tapasification of everything is shrinkflation. Because I think if they asked us to pay for a main and what they delivered was the size of the portion that you basically end up with after nibbling off of small plates, we'd be fuming. And there's a little series of tweets that we saw in July. We've actually had them saved for ages. The handle is Nati Kasambala. I'll link it below. And it says, the way London food culture has completely shifted to menus full of small plates that are the prices we used to pay for big plates with only a third of the food. I love bits and bobs as much as the next guy, but I also see your game. It's always a place telling you, we recommend 5 to 6 for the table that will have veg sides starting in the double digits. Like, whoa there.
Yeah.
The tapasification of casual and fine dining to mask inflation is crazy. And then she put, repeating for comprehension, no one is saying small plates are inherently bad. I'm talking about A, the mismatch between small plate sizing with big plate prices. Points, and B, the fact that it's been adopted literally everywhere when it doesn't even match the vibe. Someone's added to that, add the cocktails full of fruit juice and no alcohol for eye-watering prices. That's a whole nother conversation. And then someone else has put, if I have to share it, it has to be bigger than usual. I don't know why this is so hard for people to grasp.
Do you know what? That's actually a very good point, because we are being kind of pushed into this culture where we're literally sharing crumbs. That's actually what we're doing. These are the sharing plates. Sharing plates for me is very much 3 plates for myself. That is it. Yeah. Because they are very much single portions that they're asking you to split. It's like when we used to go to school and get 3 wings from KFC and then like split that. Do you know what I mean? We're sharing half a wing. Yeah. I've actually gone out and had small plates where if we're really trying to divvy up, somebody's always at a loss on one of these plates because they're not even, and it's not for one person.
That does my head
It's not for 2 people. So
even worse, I think when you go out for like 3 or 4. So me, I think I spoke about it. It was La Gamba.
Yes, I remember. Yeah,
it was at a tapas restaurant.
Yeah, and
there was 3 of us, and I know you're not going to adapt the portion size to every person that you're serving, but why is there 2 pieces of bread?
Yeah.
Why don't you say, okay, everything is for sharing. It is literally tapas. But for 4 people, order this many.
Exactly.
For 2 people, order this many. For this, order that.
Yeah.
I believe that sharing dishes should only be whole things. So there's a couple of sharing dishes that I like a whole fish.
Yes.
Let's share that.
I like
Do you know what
that.
I mean? Lamb shank.
Yeah.
There's some places where I order like a massaman curry or like a lamb shank curry, and I'm like, oh, this is a whole lamb shank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why didn't you say?
It's not for one person.
Like, why didn't you say, kind of thing? So there are certain dishes that I'm like, yeah, you can tell me this is a sharing concept if you are literally like between two people order a rice, a noodles, a fish and a meat. Fantastic. Broccoli as a small plate. Bubala, where I went a couple weeks ago.
Broccoli is a side. Wrap it up. Like,
I haven't edited the reel for that. I'll edit it and put it up this week because I was supposed to do this weeks ago. So I'll do it for y'all now.
Yeah.
That is a sharing concept and it's a set menu. But I think there are enough dishes and enough courses and it's set. Don't leave it up to me. And then I'm going to pick the wrong things and I'm hungry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't tell me, oh, you're 5 to 6, but not 5 to 6 of those. 5 to 6, but specifically in order to feel full, you need
yeah.
this one.
Some of them take this one.